Hey buddy, it's 54 News Star, and this is gonna be another video on screen recorders. I just recorded a whole bunch, and this is just a quick dirty video before I get to actually making the professional edited and one with examples in it. This is just real quick on the ones I've just finished testing and the ones I'm about to test. But I recorded with PlayClaw using a whole bunch of their different settings and codecs, and then Bandicam, and then I finally tested out Lolio or Lolilo. I think it's an Asian screen recorder. I haven't had any bugs or issues with it so far, so it's worked out okay, and it hasn't given me any warning signs or anything like that, and it actually records a really good frame rate. So these are what I call the lighter screen recorders. So you're gonna get good, screen recording resolution. It's just not gonna be as great. It doesn't put as much power into it as a full-on Fraps or not Bandicam, but DxTory would. So it'd be kind of like comparing your handheld little camera that can record in 1080 to a movie studio camera that can record in 1080. They can both do 1080. It's just how many pixels can they put into the screen, how many bit rate, all that type of stuff. Now you could probably edit it to where you can't really tell, and once you upload to YouTube, you can't exactly tell. With their older codecs, you probably could, but with the newer ones, it's just blurring it and all that stuff, so you can't really tell. Okay, PlayClaw with no compression. I did a minute and 12 seconds. It was 6 gigs, which was really large. I'll have to actually compare that when I do a Fraps and DxTory review between the lights and heavy recorders on whether it's better or worse. If it's better, then I would actually do PlayClaw with no compression, and it might even look better than DxTory with Lagarith codec. But at this point, I don't really know. It's 6 gigs. It records over 743 megabytes per second. What that means is that it's recording a lot of visual data, a lot of color data to make sure that the picture looks perfect. So it's going to record everything exactly as you're seeing through your eyeball. Low compression on PlayClaw refused to work, so I can't report on that. Then the MJPEG was 1 minute and 48 seconds. It was 2.9 gigs. It recorded only. It was 165 megabytes in size. It only recorded 165 megabytes per second. So it recorded a fraction of the color and detail. So the more megabytes that you record per second, so 743 megabytes per second on the no compression, recorded almost every single detail on that screen. While the MJPEG only recorded 165 megabytes per second, recording a fraction of the detail on it. It's still really good, and when you compare it, and when you put it on YouTube, you're probably not going to notice the quality difference. But if you want to know the detail difference, I'd go with no compression on the PlayClaw. So I also gave each one ratings. So from what I've worked with, the no compression I gave a 6.8. And then the JPEG I gave a 7.8. I would actually still use the MJPEG, but and that's due to the fact that it's small in size, and you could really tell when I popped it up in AVI player. you couldn't really. I really prefer people using the AVI player. I'll put a little since I'm doing a little red box, little recording, whatever logo box with a white background. I'll actually put the media player icon on, so you know what I'm talking about in the name. Because it plays all the video spectrums, all the color spectrums, other than media player from Windows is a really nice one. It just it does not play all the video colors correctly, so it may look really bad, but it may be perfect. So I did this for people starting out for game recording on that stuff for YouTube. So MJPEG's not going to record every single detail, but for size-wise, it is perfect. For color depth and all that stuff, it is perfect. If you want to really put out great quality, then I would suggest you go with PlayClaw, no compression, and it does a really great job. Next came Bandicam with MPEG 1. It was 35 seconds at a variable bit rate, which is kind of interesting because then it's trying to capture all of the quality while still trying to stay on the smaller size. So it was 103 megabytes, and between the MJPEG and the Bandicam MPEG 1, there's actually really no detailed difference. I kind of even like the MPEG 1 over the MJPEG. But it was 103 megabytes, and it was really good for those people who want to record something, want to record it fast, and Bandicam is kind of like those recorders that always work through almost everything. PlayClaw too, but Bandicam kind of stands out there. Next came Motion JPEG. Now, the Motion JPEG on PlayClaw was, to me, a lot clearer than it was on Bandicam for some reason. I rated it a 5.5. It was 173 megabytes. I didn't really notice extra detail. Maybe if I edited it and rendered it in the video editor, they'd show up more. But it was 1.5 gigs. But for that, that extra, 900 whatever megabytes, it just didn't show as much detail. Now the PlayClaw Motion JPEG was 1 minute 48 seconds. It was 2.9 gigs. 165 megabytes per second, and the Motion JPEG on Bandicam was 173. So for 10, 12, whatever extra megabytes, there was no actual difference between them. The MPEG, one was shorter than the other, so I wouldn't care about size too much. But 1.5 gig, the PlayClaw Motion JPEG was a lot better. I wouldn't say a lot. I would say it was, in some ways, clearer than the Bandicam one. Okay, at 8.8 is Lagarith. This was Bandicam with Lagarith. PlayClaw does not allow you to use external codecs. That's why I like and prefer Bandicam. So on Bandicam with Lagarith, I had over 997 megabytes, which is more than the no compression on PlayClaw. Basically, you can compare the no compression on PlayClaw to Lagarith on Bandicam, and you're gonna have it recorded 146 megabytes per second to the 743 megabytes per second. So for 57 seconds, it was, almost 1 gig. And they were almost, Lagarith codec has always proven to be one that has better video quality. But at this point, it was like, yeah, it was better. It was even, smaller. since they were almost the same size, 57 seconds and a minute and 12 seconds is really not too big of a difference. So PlayClaw with your no compression, you were really good, but with Bandicam with Lagarith codec. Now, granted, Lagarith is a compressed codec. I would compare it actually more to the low compression codec there, because Lagarith is not a fully compressed codec. It just wants to, make sure that, hey, you're not going over file size, but yet you are, capturing very, very good visuals. So, PlayClaw, you're really good, and actually give you super high points for the ability of, I will get better frame rate with PlayClaw, but if I want to stick with picture quality, I go with the Bandicam. But I've been playing what is that game? Transformers, and sometimes it will knock down my frame rate if I use Bandicam and I use Motion JPEG, not Motion JPEG, but Motion MPEG quality, which is it's really, really good if you're doing a a simple game, a simple 2D game. It's bright colors or whatever, something that's not require too much computer power. It's great. Use Motion JPEG and it's gonna do great. But what you really want to do on YouTube is find a codec that captures between, I would like to have 400 to 700 millibytes per second. Yeah, you're gonna have a large, not a huge large file, a semi-large file, a medium-sized file that records a lot of color depth, so that you have the ability to have a great detailed video. So PlayClaw, I commend you on your ability to keep people playing games with high FPS. I mean, I was playing Transformers without a glitch, without a frame stutter, and you still give me really good picture quality, except the fact that you probably need to work on your codecs a little bit more. I really like the no compression, because I recorded a video with it, and it was really, really nice, crisp color, except the file size. And luckily, I was running on an external hard drive, because the thing was like, it was really large. But it gave me great color. I rendered it, and it was still perfect. Bandicam, you gave me the ability to have a reasonable size file with a reasonable color quality. You do allow me to choose external codecs, which allow me to then demand more bitrate, color bitrate per second, so I can vamp up the quality of my video, but I also vamp up the size of the video. But because both programs are lighter, they don't put the extra processing power that my computer has into taking huge, gigantic quality picture shots. That being said, they're still very great programs. Then the last one would be Lolilo. I rated it at 6.6. It's perfect for those people who don't want to spend any money at all because they're starting out for recording for YouTube. Again, it did have its issues. I recorded, I took note of the frame rate of every single test. So in PlayClaw, I was, getting, what was it? I know it's in the, I was dancing between the 50s and the 80s in frame rate when I was doing my testing. In Bandicam, I was on 70-ish. Motion, it was between 70-ish and 90-ish. Lagarith, I took a hit because it was basically Lagarith codec uses your computer to help compress, so it's 88 to 92. Yeah, I mean, PlayClaw is gonna be better at your frame play count because it doesn't demand. It's probably the lightest program out there at this moment that records so lightly that it almost gives you no frame rate, demand. Other than I think Shadow Play for the NVIDIA card, it's like if you have a computer and you're playing a game that it demands CPU and you still want to record decent to okay, even okayish entering great, picture quality, you play Claw. If you have, a computer that's a little bit more buffed up, but still not the next gen, or even like say it's like last gen computer tech, but you still have an okay graphics card, you still can play some stuff. Go for Bandicam. It's not gonna hurt you at all. Just play around with your codecs quality. I had all my codec quality set to 100 maxed out, so I get every single pixel I can capture. And then I played around with a Lolilo, which it only records in motion JPEG, which is kind of like the hindrance to it. But it has some really great features. For example, it has a timer, so it knows how long you're recording for. It records an okay picture quality. I wouldn't rate it too high. I gave it a 6.6. It's right around where these other guys were. It's not the greatest picture quality, but it does record it. You can see everything that's going on. It's it can record in HD, 720, 1080, or aspect ratio of your desktop screen. I wouldn't compare it to a Lagarith codec or a lossless codec or an uncompressed codec. But among the other motion JPEG qualities, it was okay. So you can use it to record stuff. It does work. It has a timer. Has a frame rate counter. I was jumping between 33, 46, 50 frames per second, so I was in a safe area. It demands a little bit more CPU than PlayClaw. It needs more features like Bandicam, but it's right in between there. But yeah, it's new, and it's free. So, yeah, we have some mixed feelings about that. I really, really love PlayClaw. I think that, as a recording company, they are gonna be, a really, really good professional recording company. That if you have the money, you should look into them. I think that they should support more codecs, or develop their own codec to where it's really, really awesome, like HD quality, like a Lagarith codec, like a lossless codec, and then have set different qualities for that codec. Now, granted, I was playing around with PlayClaw version 3. I have not gotten a word back. I emailed the dude. He said he would get back to me. He has not gotten back to me for the PlayClaw. I think it was version 5.0 that I wanted to test out. I will re-email him and ask him, and then I'll do a revamped editing on PlayClaw 5. So, what is the verdict so far for the Lite editors? Now, granted, I have not actually tested out fully. There's a new game recording system out, and there is every year, but this time, this one has kind of like garnered a following, and I think it's, in some ways well deserved. It's FPS counter 100 or something like that. I'll put the logo up and a link in the description. It's an OK counter. Again, it takes something from Lolio to where it has the FPS size counter, FPS counter, and all that stuff. It is a really good system. I'm testing it actually for them, so that's how I get to have a free one. would I recommend it? It's too early to tell. I haven't fully used it so far. I've used it to record some Watch Dogs. It's been good for that. They do have some issues with certain codecs will not record. I was recording in MPEG-1 to compare against Bandicam, and it recorded a black screen. I recorded with Lagarith. It actually recorded good Lagarith codec video quality. They do want you to use their own codec, which is RJPEG something, and it's okay. It's a little bit pixelated, but it's an okay video codec. So I'm still testing them out, but compared between Lolio and Bandicam and PlayClaw, who came out the winner? Well, okay, well, I'm going to put this in sections, and I'll let you decide from there. PlayClaw, FPS. I have gotten higher FPS on almost every single game with PlayClaw. It does take a huge gigantic hit, and I wouldn't say a huge gigantic hit, I would say a pretty good size hit when you have to deal with the fact that you cannot use any other codec. So I would say PlayClaw just by a hair. Then you have Bandicam, and Lolio is on the bottom due to the fact that they, again, are like PlayClaw. They only support motion JPEG. They have no other, they don't have no it's basically just motion JPEG, and that's it. Then they have quality of that motion JPEG, and then, that's about it. It is a good recorder. It's your basic one, but it'll do the job for you for free. So again, PlayClaw, just because of the fact that I can run into any game, even if it's above my system, requirements, and I can still capture really good frame rate. I do have the problem of huge gigantic file size of their no compression. It's still, I don't think, as large as the Lagarith. So, you get to take some swing with that. They do also just record in MPEG. Bandicam would be my second choice due to the fact that, again, they have no real issue with FPS. They just, I just have a 10, 15, 20 FPS. So if I'm running a Bandicam on, say, my FPS counter on Bandicam saying, and this is without recording, 127. That's with Bandicam, and I put on PlayClaw, without it recording, it has a green number before you hit record, and then it turns into a color while you're recording. So 127 for Bandicam not recording. I will have PlayClaw, and it will have 140, 150. So it's not a huge issue. And then when I switch on recording, PlayClaw could be clocking in at 40, 50, 60, while Bandicam is going between, I would like to say the 48, 50, 55s, the high, between the mid 40s to the upper 50s. So there's no real difference. I just, PlayClaw will give me higher FPS just in case I hit something with a lot of graphical, it's seen with a huge amount of graphics or a lot of textures, or and a huge gigantic explosion that suddenly chokes my graphics card. The scene will just continue to move smoothly. But Bandicam, I actually prefer due to the fact that it contains a lot of codecs, a lot of quality options, a lot of audio options. It's your mini DX toy. And then lastly, if you don't want to spend any money at all, you go to Lolio and you're good to go. I will also be testing out a free screen recorder. I'll put the link down below to it in the next video, and I'll send an email to Action, Mirrorless Action, and then over to the PlayClaw studio to see if they can give me a temporary key for PlayClaw 5 so I can review it. And then in the next video, I should have quality settings for each one of them. So I'll put up a video with PlayClaw, and tell you guys what settings I used, and then I'll put up the same scene or whatever using Bandicam and Lolio to let you see the details after I've rendered them in, well, I'll be rendering them on Movie Maker, and then some Cyber video editor, and then my video editor that I've always used for the most part is Sony Vegas. And then you guys can see which one is the best. Also, guys, just to let you know, I'm not recording this in my usual Camtasia 8 or 7. I'm recording this in Fast Stone Screen Recorder. So far, the new update has actually given it great quality, and it is great for quick tutorials, and it gives out this is already coming up to almost 30 minutes, and I'm barely touching. It just hit 13 millibytes, so far that's been a great screen recorder for me to use for quick videos. Hopefully, guys, you enjoyed this, and I will get the other videos really quick and soon so you can see the quality, and I will see you in the next video, guys. Bye. Oh, also, quickly, can you tell me what screen recorder you use, why you like it, and what might be your settings for that, so I can use them, compare them against other screen recorders, and tell you how you might want to improve your settings. Also, if you have any, or if there are any screen recording programs that I have not heard of or anything like that, I put that down below in the description. Also, if you are building a screen recorder and would like for me to test it out and compare it against the others, please, hit me down below, and I will test it out and give you feedback. Until then, guys, I will see you all later.